Yo, what is going on, everybody? It is Tristan, and today in this video, what I got going on for you guys is I just wanted to bring y'all some tips for 2024 when it comes down to sourcing kicks, finding kicks. I know a lot of you guys are going to have questions about that, and I'm just going to give y'all a few places that can probably help you out when it just comes down to it, finding kicks in general. So that's what this video is going to be about, just showing you kind of the places, kind of how to source, maybe even bulk at some points. That really comes down the line when you have more capital ready, but also, once you kind of find those connections, and I'll kind of explain some places where those connections are. So that's really all I need to mention. If y'all want more content like this, feel free to subscribe and like down below. Not the normal video location, but sometimes we switch it up. I'm just not at the house today, but I'll be back there tomorrow, so y'all will see some normal content on Monday, but hopefully this video will be helpful regardless. Aside from that, that's all I really need to mention, and don't forget to check us out down below at HYPELABS. Y'all can see some of the undermarket sneakers we've done recently. We got more dropping tonight, so don't miss out on that if you like undermarket kicks, and that's actually a really good place. Y'all can find a lot of really good deals on kicks, so if you're interested in that, just join us down below and you won't be missing out on anything. So that's all I need to say. We also keep you in the loop for restocks, upcoming drops, early info, all that. So see you guys there if you want to stay in the loop. Very helpful spot actually, kind of with the topic of this video, but let's continue. So kind of one of the first places I want to mention is going to be Instagram. I'll even pop mine on the screen if y'all want to give me a follow, shoot me a DM here if you ever have a general question. You can just shoot me a DM. I usually get back to most. If I haven't gotten back to yours, just message me again, but feel free to follow me there. But I do feel like if you do not have an Instagram account, you are missing out on a lot of places and also a lot of information. There's a lot of info that goes on Instagram, but also in general, I just see a lot of sellers on Insta, a lot of unique sellers that you're not going to see on other platforms, right? Facebook groups are very good as well. I know a lot of people that are in those, so that's another thing I'd recommend in general is going on Facebook, looking at some sneaker groups. But you have to make sure with anybody that you're doing business with on Instagram, on Facebook, anything. Since most of the time people are taking payments through PayPal, Cash App, or Zelle, or only Cash App or Zelle, you have to make sure the person you're doing business with is verified, has references, has done business with people on Instagram, and their stuff is landed. You know what I mean? You have to make sure that the person is legit. I would not, go on Instagram, go on these other apps, and mainly be looking to take chances. That's not a good way to approach it, right? Like, for example, I'll show y'all. These are, I got some foam runners right here. This is sulfur colorway. I paid, I think it was $115 or $120 per on these, but pretty decent colorway. Again, foam runners have been going up in price, so I've been looking to buy up some of the ones that are a little bit more slept on at the moment, a little bit cheaper, because down the line, that will not be the case once there's just not as many people with them. So, I had to grab 11 of them, and this is just from someone, again, I'd found on Instagram. I checked to see if they had references. I waited for them, just post something up, and then I bought it. That's really all it took. I found them, I did business with them, and all I did beforehand was just make sure I checked their references to see if they were legit. See if there was someone I knew that had maybe even done business with them, so I can, verify that. Or even ask, the person that I know, hey, you've done business with this person, do you know if they're all good? What was your, kind of experience with them? So that's another reason I recommend Instagram, is because you can make a lot of friends there, a lot of people that can actually help you in business. So I really recommend, if you're not on there, you are missing out. Simply, I'll leave it at that. You're also missing out on customers in your local area. A lot of people will do business with you online. That's just the truth nowadays, especially. So all I'm gonna say is if you do not have Instagram, you do not have a resell account or something where you're posting your kicks up for sale, I do feel like you're missing out on the community. And you can just use hashtags to expand. You can start following people. A lot of people, will follow you back most of the time. If they don't follow you back, just hey, start doing some business with them, and then they'll get to know you some. But again, that's really how it is. At first, that's really how you grow. How I grew my page originally, I'll even pop up one of my OG pages, CLT Steals. I post here occasionally, but I mainly just post my personal now with the kicks I have for sale, stuff that's inbound, things like that. But again, I grew that page mainly through just following people, posting consistently, and also posting a wide variety of things. 3 things I really recommend: having some variety, posting consistently, and making sure with your customers you keep them updated, and also making sure that you have a reference post. That's another thing. Make sure you create a reference post on your Instagram so people can leave references for you, and then people can read those and see if you're legit over time. That's actually one thing I don't have on my personal Instagram, but I usually just link people my old page just so they can see I'm legit. But also I have plenty of story posts nowadays showing that people are getting their stuff in. So as long as you're showing to people that you are legit, you'll be good. That's the main thing I can recommend. So make sure you have those references lined up for people so they can see that, your customers. And if you're not on Insta, personally, I do feel like, even if you may not like the app, there's a lot of people on there that are buying and selling, a lot of really good pages, and you can just find those. And I mean, there's a couple I could recommend. I mean, again, like one of the main ways I found a lot of pages on Instagram is I just searched, like, for example, in the Instagram search box, I just searched like sneaker resale, and then I searched like SB Dunk, and then I searched, you know, just like general models, you know, because there's a lot of people that actually specialize their pages in certain models, especially for SB. There's a lot of people that's pages are just curated to early pairs, just curated to SBs, or just curated to Jordan 4s and 3s, and you know, all the retros that come out. So me personally, that's all I have to mention about Insta. Huge marketplace. Just make sure you're doing business with legit people, man. Honestly, if the person takes PayPal, do PayPal for the first transaction because it's safest. But if you trust the person enough, I mean, you can use those other platforms, but I just like, they have to have references. There's no reason you should be sending someone money that you do not know, unless, you know, they have like something that's proven like, hey, this person is going to do you right, not just take your money and go about their day. So that's all I'm trying to bring across to you. Instagram is a great platform. You can meet a lot of people there. You can grow a really big page, start selling a lot, but it's one of those things where it's kind of like, you got to be careful. You got to be careful because there's a lot of people that are also just trying to scam you. Do not trust any of those sponsored posts. Any of those sponsored posts, unless you see me on my page, which I'm going to be getting verified soon, so I'll have the check, so y'all be able to see that it is me. But yeah, unless it's, you know, something like that, like you can't be trusting these sponsored posts on Instagram. There's a lot of scams. It'll be like, oh, we're doing retail dunks and, you know, buy 2 for $2.50. All that is scam. Do not buy into any of that. That's all I will leave it at. So please be careful on Instagram, but it is great at the same time. And I've gotten a lot of bulk on there, and I've sold to a lot of people, a lot of you guys on there. So I appreciate that. Shout out to everybody that's done business with me. I'm actually mailing out a lot today, which I'll show y'all from that. Now, next up, as you guys can see, I got a lot of individual pairs here. It's like 4. I got about like 6 more stacked up over there. I can show you all that, but I'm not gonna, like, here, I'll just do it real quick, but y'all might be able to see, you know, we got some more pairs right here, just, you know, kind of stacked up, and those are, you know, for the guys in HYPELABS, so shout out everyone in there. You know, we're always doing the undermarket pairs. Told you all about that at the start of the video. But this is why something like a Discord group could be useful, because it will keep you in the loop, show you where you can even buy pairs like this, because I buy a lot of pairs from, you know, overseas locations, from sellers in Europe, places like that. And that's another thing that I recommend you guys dive into, is because once you start getting into these groups, they'll show you different places where you can actually learn to buy from people overseas. But also that's where another thing like, you know, Instagram would come in and be useful, because there's a lot of international sellers on there. So you can start doing business with people overseas even. But again, make sure you're doing business through, you know, protected payment platforms. Luckily, most of the time, if it's international, you're going to be doing business through PayPal, so you will be safe and protected most of the time. But you obviously got to make sure you're doing your buy right, because you know, there's a lot of protection for them as well. So that's another thing I recommend with anything international. You got to make sure you're doing it right. That's the main thing. There's a lot of guides online for shipping international. It's not too confusing. This is one thing I'll recommend as well when it comes down to saving money on shipping. You just got it, like pirateship.com. Like if you're going in store, right? In store to a USPS or UPS to make your labels, you are losing $10 to $15 per package. Simple. Especially if it's a bigger box, you're losing even more. Like a big, like, you know, Home Depot, like the one I just showed you, right? The one that might be in the thumbnail. If it's a box like that, you're losing a lot more paying for the label right in store. Excuse my dogs. One sec. So you got to be using these sites like pirateship.com, and there's a lot of other ones like easyship.com. Just a couple examples I'm going to throw out there, and these places will save you money with making labels online. All you'll need is just a place to print out the label, and you know, you can use a thermal label printer, regular printer, whatever you need to use. This will save you money though. Fact. All you have to do is make sure you have the dimensions of the box. For example, average sneaker box that fits up to like a size 10 and a half pair is going to be 14 x 10 x 5.5, or you could just put 5. But you know, with these places, they're not like super strict on the dimensions. You could do like 12, 10, 5. It's just, you know, you have to be generally close to the, you know, size of your box. You can't bring in a, you know, bulk size box and mark it as 12, 10, 5, you know, that you're going to get charged a bunch more money on the back end. So you just definitely got to make sure that you're measuring your stuff accurate, putting the correct weight, things like that with these third-party label providers. But these third-party label providers will save you a lot of money. So that's another thing I recommend. So definitely make sure you're using that with anything shipping related. But when it comes down to sourcing more pairs overseas, anything like that, that's where a group would come in handy, because they're going to show you some places where you can do that and even save money. We recently in HYPELABS, like the last 2 or 3 months, have been absolutely cooking a lot of stuff overseas. So I heavily recommend that you guys get in there, because we'll teach you about some places where you can do that. But there's a lot of, like, for example, Mercari. That's a really good place for like clothing overseas. So like, check that out. I know, as surprising as that might be, there's a lot of places like that where you should definitely be checking that out for clothing stuff. But in terms of you know, shoes, there's like a couple apps. Like y'all have probably heard of Sneaker Dunk, right? Like that app is huge. I mean, again, I'll pop up here. Use my little code, you know, you want to check it out. Maybe I'll do a promo with them soon. I know they've been working with some YouTubers. I think they just ended like their campaign for that, but they should definitely do another one of those. I know it was super successful for them, but this is a really good app. A lot of sellers from Japan and China will post their pairs here and sell them, and sometimes they'll be a lot cheaper than US market, and this is a really good place. One of the many places where we've been sourcing pairs overseas. Obviously, there's other locations I've been using, you know, for my members to obviously get them pairs at, you know, lower prices. So this is something that, you know, you guys could definitely check out. If you're in there, we'll kind of teach you how to take advantage of that. Because downloading that app is one thing, but we had a ton of codes in there that were showing you how to get like free ship, things like that. So very, very useful. Obviously, I got like brown paisleys for like 140 while we were in there. Cherry SBs are like 145. Tons of stuff. So, you know, heavily recommend checking out source from overseas, and obviously Instagram. Like that is going to be the biggest tip I will leave in this video, is in building connections on IG. If you don't do that, you're missing out. Simple. I will leave it at that. Or at least on Facebook. Like those Facebook groups, there's so many Facebook groups even that are area related. So there's like San Francisco sneakers. Like I'm just saying that. Like I don't know if that's the name of a group, but I know there's a lot of San Francisco based, you know, Facebook groups for sneakers, and same with LA, New York. So if you live in a big city, you definitely should be checking out Facebook, because you'll find a lot of good used deals. But it's another thing. If you're meeting up with anybody locally, please bring a blacklight. Purchase a blacklight so you can check and see, you know, if it has a stamp, anything, you know, off or fake. Check the insoles. You know, you got to make sure you're doing that stuff when you're meeting up, or at least research the shoe a bit that you are, you know, about to go buy, so you can kind of, you know, see what to look for in case the pair is fake. That's I don't do local meetups, you know, right? Because I just don't find them to be safe, to be honest. And here in Charlotte, right, we got a lot going on, so I'm just going, you know, I'm good, right? I can mail it to you, right? And drop it off to you, but I'm not, no. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. And you gotta, if you're meeting up with anybody, I did meetups a few years ago, just, you know, the city's gotten a lot bigger. But also, yeah, just bring a black light. Like, nobody's gonna look at you funny for doing that. The only thing you're doing is protecting yourself. So I recommend it. Please do that. But yeah, guys, those are some tips for sourcing more kicks. Y'all can see this is actually just from the last 2 days. I got like 9 or 10 more on the way. You know, I got a bunch of like baby, like Blossom Powerpuff Girls sneakers, just because, you know, I was thinking like, you know, a parent for like their kid, they would really want like the little small like pink baby shoes. So I bought a bunch of those. Again, that's some overseas sourcing, on Instagram sourcing. So I heavily recommend, guys, use these platforms. There's different platforms you can use for sneakers. Please take advantage. Just make sure you are being smart. I have a lot of my old videos are discussing how to stay protected. Use PayPal for your first transaction. Goods and services, not friends and family. Make sure you're doing stuff like that. Also, make sure that the person has references. I'm going to keep spamming that in this video. But if the person is trying to sell you way too good of a deal and they have no references, it's fake. I'm just going to, not like, it is fake. It is not real. They're going to take your money. They're not going to give you any shipping updates. Please be reasonable. So that's all I'm going to say. But if y'all want to check out my Instagrams down below, man, feel free to give me a follow. I'll give you guys some tips there. I have a lot of kicks for sale on my story. So, hey, I'm someone you can, hey, if you ever need some kicks, hit me up. I always have a ton for sale. So there's a little connection for you guys on Instagram. And I can, if any of you DM me, I'll shoot you a couple spots. You know, I'll give you a spot or two, or, you know, some kicks, like early plugs, stuff like that. I'm obviously not going to share it with everybody, but, you know, a couple of you guys. We'll leave it to some lucky folks. But do not forget, also, if y'all want to subscribe and like for more content like this, trying to 200 likes on this video. And if you want to check us out down below in HYPELABS, don't forget, we do undermarket sneakers every single day. So this is a really good place where you can actually source a lot of sneakers for less. So do not forget to check us out down below if you guys are interested in that, or if you just want to learn how to source more, stay in the loop, early information, restock pings, things that are going to, you know, generally make you money in your area. We were pinging for Stanley way in advance, you know, stuff like that, you know, because those are like $250 cups now. So, you know, if you want to make quick profit on those, we have the pings ready. So that's all I really need to mention to you guys. I hope to see you guys in the next video or in HYPELABS. And that is all I'm going to mention about sourcing kicks for 2024. Just make sure, the main tip I'm going to leave it at is be smart. Be smart. Do not get scammed. Check for references. Use PayPal goods and services. You know, you don't have to use that for every transaction, but just make sure you're staying protected, because Cash App and Zelle are unprotected. You send money through there, they can just run off with it, and, you know, they don't have to send you nothing, right? So please be careful when using these payment platforms, all right? Just use the right ones, check for references, and make sure you're doing business with legit people. And you can always hit me up, because I'm always doing legit biz. So that's it. Dogs barking. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.